Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm Kerry. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet a hedgehog, which was a request I received. When crocheted using 8-ply yarn and a 3mm hook, this large one, the size is 12 centimeters wide by 8 centimeters or 4.5 inches wide by 3 inches. This medium hedgehog crocheted using 4-ply crochet cotton and a 1.5mm hook is 9 centimeters wide by 6 centimeters or 3.5 inches wide by 2.25 inches. The small hedgehogs crocheted using 2-ply crochet cotton and a 1mm hook are 6 centimeters wide by 4.5 centimeters or 2.25 inches wide by 1.75 inches. I'll be using Catona cotton today, so the size will be slightly smaller than the large one. I'll tell you the size at the end of the video. I'll use these colours for my one today because I think it will be easier for you to see. I'll be using Catona cotton. I've got 254 Moon Rock and 404 English tea. I've got a 2.5mm crochet hook, scissors. I've got white fabric paint to put a tiny dot in the centre of the bead for the eye. I've got a darning needle to weave in the ends. I've got a black bead for the eye and sewing thread and a needle to stitch it together, and the black is to embroider on a mouth and attach the bead. Now I'm starting on the head in behind the nose there. I've got my 404, the English tea, and we start with a magic loop. There's lots of ways to make a magic loop, so make it how you feel most comfortable. I just put my hook on the yarn, bring the short end over the hook and then the long end over the short end to make a circle, and then yarn around the hook and bring my hook with the yarn at the end through the circle, and that's my magic loop. I work one chain and I work one single crochet into my circle. A single crochet is a double crochet using UK terms. For a single crochet we put our hook in through the circle and bring through a loop and take the yarn around the hook and hook with the yarn at the end through both loops. Then we pull our circle tight, so we take hold of this tail and just ease it in. For row 2 we start with one chain and turn. We're going to work one single crochet and one half double crochet in our stitch. So work one single crochet. Now a half double crochet is a half treble using UK terms. For a half double crochet, put the yarn around your hook, hook into the stitch and bring up a loop. Yarn around the hook and take the hook with the yarn at the end through the 3 loops. For row 3 we start with one chain and turn. We work 3 single crochet into the first stitch. And 2 half double crochet into our last stitch. That's just giving it the shaping for the head. For row 4 we start with 2 chain and turn. We work 2 half double crochet into our first stitch. One single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And 2 half double crochet into the last stitch. For row 5 we start with one chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch and one single crochet in each of the last 6 stitches. For row 6 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet into each of the first 3 stitches. Two single crochet into the next stitch. And then 1 single crochet into each stitch to the end. For row 7 we start with 1 chain and turn. We're going to work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches. So put your hook into the first stitch and bring up a loop, and hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop. There's 3 loops on the hook. Put the yarn around the hook and take your hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. Then work 1 half double crochet into each of the following 2 stitches. 2 half double crochet into the next stitch, 1 half double crochet into each of the following 2 stitches, and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches, the same as we did at the beginning of the row. For row 8 we start with 2 chain and turn. We work 1 half double crochet into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. And we're going to miss these last stitches. For row 9 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 3 stitches. Now work 1 chain quite tightly and turn your work, and we're going to work a neatening row. We're going to work a slip stitch in each stitch around. So we put our hook into the stitch, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on the hook. Now just in this corner we could work 1 chain very tightly and then work a slip stitch in each stitch down to the corner, and then work a slip stitch in each stitch along. And you could work a chain quite tightly there before you turn the corner, and just work a slip stitch in each stitch down to the nose part. Into the end of the nose I like to work 1 slip stitch, 1 chain and 1 slip stitch. It just gives it a bit of a point, and then just work 1 slip stitch in each stitch back to the beginning of the row. And just slip stitch in the first stitch worked. Now that's the head done. We're going to work these little legs now. For the first leg just start with 1 chain and turn, and we're going to be working into the back loop. This is the front loop here and that's the back loop. So just work one single crochet in the back loop of the first 2 stitches. We'll be working the other leg into these front loops and then work 2 chain. Now work 2 single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then spin the work around and work 1 single crochet in each of the 2 stitches and fasten off. And that's the first little leg worked. I'll weave in these ends to make it easier for you to see while I'm working this other leg. Now for this far front leg, we're going to join in the loop left in front of the second single crochet from our first leg. So just in there. So it's going to be worked slightly behind the first leg. Work 1 chain, work 1 single crochet into that same stitch as the join, and then 1 single crochet in the front loop only of the next stitch. Then work 2 chain, work 2 single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then spin the work around and work 1 single crochet in each of the 2 stitches from row 1. And fasten off. And that's the head and the 2 front legs done. Now for the back, I've got my 254, the moon rock, and we start with 6 chain. Now we're going to work some different stitches to give it a curved back. We're starting at this back section. We work 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook, 1 half double crochet in the next chain, and we'll work 1 double crochet in the following chain. A double crochet is a treble using UK terms. For a double crochet, put the yarn around the hook, hook into the next chain and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, take the hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops. Then we work 1 half double crochet into the next chain and 1 single crochet into the last chain. And it just curves a bit. For row 2, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch, then 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and 2 single crochet into the last stitch. For row 3, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches, and 2 single crochet into the last stitch. For row 4, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet in the first stitch, 1 single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches, and 2 single crochet into the last stitch. For row 5, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into each of the next 9 stitches, and 2 single crochet into the last stitch. For row 6, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 13 stitches. For row 7, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For row 8, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 13 stitches. For row 9, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For row 10, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches and work 1 single crochet in each of the last 11 stitches. For row 11, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet in each of the first 10 stitches and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. For row 12, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches, and then 1 single crochet in each of the last 9 stitches. For row 13, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet into each of the first 4 stitches, and a joined single crochet over the next 2 stitches. For row 14, we start with 1 chain and turn and work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches, then 1 single crochet into each of the last 3 stitches. For row 15, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 4 stitches, For row 16, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet in each of the first 2 stitches, and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. For row 17, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 3 stitches. For row 18, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet into the first stitch and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. Now that's the body done, except for the neatening row. Now for the neatening row, we're going to turn, but it's just easier if you work 2 chain first and then slip stitch in the second chain from the hook. So put your hook in the second chain from the hook, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on the hook, and then turn your work and slip stitch into that first stitch. And that's our first little spike. Then work 2 chain, slip stitch in the second chain from the hook, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. And we're going to work that all the way around. For this corner, I'll just work another one and slip stitch in there. So work 2 chain and slip stitch in the second chain from the hook, and then slip stitch into that same stitch. And now we're just going to work 2 chain, slip stitch in the second chain from the hook, and then slip stitch into the next stitch, and we'll repeat that right around our work. So 2 chain, slip stitch in the second chain from the hook, and slip stitch into the next stitch, and just repeat that. Now you may find it easier with a slightly finer hook for neatening rows. and then just work up the side. And we'll just work like that right around our piece. So I'll work the neatening row off camera, but I'll be back when I'm about at the last stitch. I'm almost back to the last one. I'll do another 2 chains, slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, and then slip stitch into the same stitch as our first spike, and then I'll fasten off. And that's the back done. Now while I've got my moon rock, I'll work this little nose. Now I leave a tail at the beginning and end to stitch it down, and we start with a magic loop. We work 1 chain and 2 single crochet into the circle. We pull the circle tight and join with a slip stitch in the chain. And fasten off. I'll leave a bit of a tail again. And it's just a tiny circle. Now for the little ear, I've got my 404, the English T, and we make a magic loop, but I'll leave a bit of a tail again. We work 3 chain and slip stitch into the circle and pull the circle tight, and then fasten off, leaving a bit of a tail again. And that's the ear. Now for the back leg, I've still got my 404, the English T, and we start with 3 chain. I pull the last chain quite tight, or it makes it look like it's got high heels. For row 1, we miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet in each of the last 2 chain. For row 2, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. For row 3, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each of the 2 stitches. For row 4, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. And then we work 2 chain for the foot. We work 2 single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and then spin the work around and work 1 single crochet in each of the 2 stitches. Now I've made it a bit longer, so we've got plenty of space to stitch it in behind the body. Then we fasten off. Now that's all the pieces worked. I'll weave in the ends that need to be woven in, and I'll be back and we'll put it together. Now there's the pieces. We've got the body, the head, the back leg, the nose and the ear. The first things we do is embroider the little mouth on the head, and I'll also attach the nose just at that point there, just in there. The next thing we do is attach the body to the head there, so just in about there. Next I'll attach the eye. It just goes probably about there, and I'll attach the leg just in under there. The last things I do is attach the ear just in there. I let it stick up a bit, and I'll add a white dot in the centre of the bead, and then I'll be back to show you the finished hedgehog. There's the finished hedgehog. The size is 10 centimetres wide by 7 centimetres, or 4 inches wide by 2.5 inches. If you've liked my video, please like, subscribe and share. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Patreon. The details are in the description below, along with the details of my website where I have my patterns and the details of my Facebook group. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.